I live in England. My soon-to-be ex-wife and I are both 26, and we have a 5-year-old son and a 10-month-old girl. I work as one of the managers at an IT company while she works as a receptionist at a hospital. She hasn't been working much due to pregnancy and maternity leave. I am quite an outgoing person, whereas she's quite introverted and only really enjoys spending time with close family members, her family plus me and the children, and friends she's known since childhood. After she gave birth to our last child, she gained a little weight, but hasn't been depressed, distant, or anything like that. I have spotted her every step of the way. I made sure that things are as comfortable for her as much as possible, even reassuring her that she is still the most beautiful woman in my eyes, and she's very good looking too, despite the changing body whilst pregnant. On Saturday, July 1st, 2023, an ex-employee from my place of work, age 23, came to my house thinking I would be around because he knows I don't work on Saturdays. The employee knew where I live because my house was on his way home, and we previously had a meeting at my house when my wife wasn't around. He wanted to drop off an important document that I had left at his house the previous day when we were discussing work-related matters. My wife opened the door and didn't know who he was, so he explained himself that he worked for me. And then she allowed him inside and offered him tea whilst he waited for me. I was at my parents' house 5 kilometers away. This is what happened next, according to this employee, as best as I can remember him saying over the phone 2 days ago. Here is how our conversation went. Ex-employee: do you know about me and your wife? Me: what do you mean? Explain. Ex-employee: remember that day last month when you weren't home and I came to drop off documents? I'm sorry because I should have called you beforehand. Me: yes. So what? Ex-employee: after your wife invited me in and offered to make tea, we began to talk and quickly bonded over literature. She was very friendly, and I know what I'm about to tell you was very wrong of me to do, but we started having X on your couch, and your son came into the living room at that moment, then asked who I was, and she told him not to worry, that he should go watch TV. We went upstairs and, finished up. Me: are you joking? Because if you're trying to cause trouble, don't. Ex-employee: no, it's not a lie. I just thought I would tell you because that little boy saw his mother with someone else, and years down the line, if you ever did find out, I wouldn't want you to think that I scared a little boy without caring. Remember that your wife is the married one, not me. I didn't force her. Me: I don't believe you at all. Ex-employee: that is why I resigned. 7th July. Because I didn't know whether you knew or not, and would rather resign than have a sacking on my record. Me: I would ask her, and if true, I would deal with you appropriately. Ex-employee: okay, but like I said, I didn't force her, nor did I do anything illegal. You won't hear from me again. Sorry. I was livid with anger and hurt at the same time. This is an ex-employee who only started working for me in May, and I am certain she never ever knew he existed up until that day. When I went home, I immediately confronted my wife, and she denied it at first, but then owned up to what happened after she realized the severity of the situation, including the employees quitting. She said she was very sorry and didn't know what came over her. I then said, apparently our son saw you. She repudiated his claim that she had X with him the first day she met him. When I confronted her on how shocked I was that she had X with him within an hour of meeting him, she claimed that she didn't have X with him the first time, but he came back later when I wasn't home, which was when they had X. Still doesn't reduce the severity of her cheating. It's still unbelievable how my 5-year-old worked in on her cheating, only to send him away, then go upstairs and continue to screw the guy. It came as a shock to me that a wife that I had always held in high esteem now exposed herself as having no morals or integrity. I never saw any sign that she could betray me like this. I am deeply concerned about my son. Some years from now, when we are separated, our son will remember what happened and may develop trust issues. I am even more sad that he unfortunately experienced something like that. Although I was upset at the ex-employee, I am glad that he came forward and told me this, or else I never would have known. My soon-to-be ex is very quiet and would have taken it to the grave had I not been informed. We have always done everything together, had a great marriage, no fallouts. She's the type to never complain and just keep quiet. We have always maintained a good level of intimacy. I cannot fathom why she would go and cheat like this. It's confusing. Concerning the papers the employee came to drop off, she handed them to me when I came back later that day. No, the two did not know each other. I know that for a fact. This ex-employee was quite outgoing. That's all I could think of as why it might have happened. I was angry at the time and just saw red. I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible to my parents, who I knew would make me feel better. I said to her that I was going to stay with my parents for a few days while I decide what to do, which was a mistake. What I should have done in that situation would have been to persuade her to leave the house immediately for a few nights, for me to clear my mind, with my kids staying with me, and then go straight to the divorce lawyer. My chances of a good custody arrangement would usually be better if the kids stayed mostly with me after the separation, according to what I read. I asked her earlier today whether she was unhappy in the marriage, and her exact words were, "No, it's just that I love feeling desired by someone else other than me," quote unquote. So what she meant was that she didn't like the idea of being with just me. Since that's the case, I will leave her and focus purely on my children and work. As some of you noted, she went from 0 to 60 in no time without ever hitting the brakes once, then lied to me convincingly. Mind you, it took weeks for her to be exposed, so she looked at me every day after she slept with another man and told me she loved me. Now I knew that was a lie. She cheated with a guy she didn't even know after only probably a day of talking with him. Even my son walking in didn't check her behavior. To act nonchalant about my son catching her and to keep going shows me how much disdain she had for our marriage. I will soon get an STD test. As for my two children, they are definitely mine. My son looks exactly like me, and I have no reason to doubt my baby girl isn't mine too. They were both planned, although I could request tests just to be sure. Leaving the house was definitely a heat of the moment thing for me. I have been at my parents' place for a couple of days, so I have been away. But I have seen my children, and I have spoken to them on FaceTime. My son is fine. He is used to his bedroom and his routine every day. And so is my daughter. She's only 10 months old, and I know that babies need their mother more for obvious reasons. My parents, and even her family members too, are very supportive of me and do not condone what she did. It's only been a few days, and me and my parents are trying to think of the best solution for what has happened. It's not just about me. I am for sure getting a divorce. I have seen my son on FaceTime and my baby daughter too, and told them that I will be with them soon. I have decided that there is no coming back from this and will definitely get a divorce from my wife. But the only issue is custody and finance. I don't want to be like the many men who get divorced due to the faults of their wives, only to lose the house and only see the kids on the weekends. The ex-employee is not my friend, just a standard employee like anyone else. He was only at my house to discuss work matters. When saying I would deal with him, I meant I would inform other companies about his unprofessional behavior. But if he was standing right in front of me, things might be different. I do plan on using him in court though. I just need to stress that this woman does not have any mental illness. What happened because she wanted it to. As simple as that. I keep having to explain to people that yes, she's an introvert. I have been with her for many years. I know introverted behavior. And if I say she's an introvert, then she is one. I asked her about what happened, and she admitted to it. She said, "I don't know what came over me and why I did it," quote unquote. This is an admission that she willingly slept with this guy. I am not going to accuse anyone of something they didn't do. This ex-employee said that he only told me because he wanted to clarify that he never willingly wanted my child to suffer in the future because he saw his mother having sex with another man. That is why he felt bad and told me. I haven't revealed everything that my wife and I discussed, but she wasn't forced. I told her word for word what my ex-employee said, and she confirmed that all was true, except that she didn't have sex with him the very first day, but the day after, when he came back on her invitation. I am assuming that my son would have gone to watch TV or play video games in his room. He has a variety of games he likes to play, but he likes to read, and he's a very bright boy. Obviously, the door would have been closed or something. My daughter was asleep in our room, as confirmed by my wife, or soon-to-be ex. This was clearly the moment of madness in which, like I said before, I am not going to forgive. Guys, I went to the house today for the first time since leaving, saw the children, and had a discussion with her. I told her that she will have to leave the house. The house is in my name only, before the weekend, and she agreed. She would be staying with her very good friend, who live a couple of streets from us. Her family lives quite far. I haven't told her about any divorce because my parents advised me not to yet. This is convenient because now the children will never be far from any of us. My parents are in the process of giving me their lawyer. He helped them about 10 years ago with a different case, and they have leaned towards him ever since. I never thought I would have to deal with anything like this in my entire life, let alone at 26. Guys, an update. She's out of the house and staying with her friend not too far away. My 10-year-old is with her, but I have my son. We agreed that for now, she would have the baby because I know that at that tender age, there's nobody you need more than your mother. Have not mentioned a divorce yet because I would like to be better prepared legally, but I'm pretty sure she can expect one to come, given the current situation. Despite what she's done, leaving her is hard, but I do understand that I have to get a divorce because should I stay with her, it would always be in the back of my mind that she cheated. Not just that, but other people around me who know what has happened will surely lose respect. I highly doubt she cheated before. I may never do it again, but doing it once is damaging enough. I am not rich, but I have more than enough money. The house was inherited down to me and in my name completely from my grandparents. I haven't told her I want a divorce, but I'm pretty sure she knows that I can go down that route. I believe that I can recover from what has happened, but our relationship can never recover. I can't live in the same house with her anymore, but I will do my best to make sure the children are well looked after. I wouldn't poison the kids about their mother when they are older. But as for being fair, what is fair about this situation? I am not the one who went and broke up the marriage and family, not to mention spoiling both mine and her image in the process. When getting a divorce, all I want is to have my house and to be around the children as regularly as possible, or even better if they can live with me. As for being a good person, I thought that she was, but good people don't do this and then hide it. One thing I can say is that she's very remorseful since I discovered the betrayal. She constantly tries to contact me and her family. I appreciate all the people's help here. I will try to collect evidence, which I will use in court. Can't stand the thought of contacting this man again, but I might have to. I have a feeling there's more to this than I'm being told by both of them. But it doesn't matter because they have already admitted to a one-night stand. So that's enough for me to decide the future, divorce. I have never had a bad word to say about her until recently. I went to see the lawyer my parents have recommended, and they told me to get an STD test and a DNA test for my children as well, even though I thought they were mine. After speaking to my lawyer, I told them that in court, I will offer to pay literally 100% of my children's expenses, healthcare, schooling, food, clothes, entertainment, and all that stuff. That way, I won't have to pay her a penny. I am willing to make sure that my children are well looked after at all times, even if it means being the sole and only provider. This wouldn't be a spite to her, but I just love my children so much that I would do anything for them. The lawyers drafted a divorce agreement and served her at her friend's house. She came back home that evening after being served, telling me that she was sorry and I was overreacting. I will admit that she almost got to me though, as I allowed her to stay home that night as she was crying inconsolably. I just ignored her and went into the room as I didn't want her to see me emotional. I went to bed that night, questioning if whether it would have been better not to have known of her infidelity, to live ignorantly with love, or to know the truth that would break apart my family. During the following day, her family tried to convince me to reconcile with her, telling me that it was just a one-time thing. Although they didn't condone what she did, they always say that I am her rock and she needs me. My parents, on the other hand, were supportive of any decision I made. They understand how difficult it was for me, and they stress that if I decide to take her back, I had to live the rest of my life knowing that I can never trust her, and what's important for me at that moment is to live a happy life. Even though I have served her divorce papers, I was still on the fence about getting a divorce. It wasn't until the DNA result came out, and shockingly, My 11-month-old daughter wasn't mine. After I confronted her with the DNA result, she got angry at me, trying to act like I violated our children's privacy by getting a DNA test, instead of addressing the enormous disaster that my daughter isn't mine. At this point, I doubt if I ever knew her. Our children were no mistake. They were planned. We planned for my daughter. I simply cannot believe everything that have transpired. I feel like I'm living in a very strange dream that I keep pinching myself to wake up. I threw her out of my house for the second time. Then I reported the news to her parents, who had been trying to get us to reconcile, but now they have nothing to say. It's been a difficult time for me to find out that my 10-month-old daughter isn't mine. I returned to my divorce lawyer to discuss the outcome of the test I had taken. After seeing the result, they advised me to undergo another DNA test for further confirmation. The second test strongly supported the findings of the initial one, making it very likely to be accurate. Despite discovering that my 10-month-old daughter is not biologically related to me, I decided to stick with the divorce agreement that had already been put forward. This means that I will continue to provide financial support for my 2 children, including my daughter, even though I now know she's not biologically my child. This decision reflects my willingness to care for her despite the biological difference. During the discussion with my lawyer, I informed him not to alter my plans. However, he advised me that I should continue helping my daughter as a volunteer, but he suggested that we shouldn't mention this assistance in the official divorce document. The reason for this is that we intend to use the DNA test result as evidence during the court proceedings. To accommodate this strategy, my lawyer had to create a fresh set of divorce papers and then formally serve them to my soon-to-be ex-wife once again. My parents were really upset when they found out that my daughter wasn't biologically mine. They told me that even though it was difficult news to hear, it's really important for my soon-to-be ex-wife to figure out who the real father of the child is, especially while our daughter is still young. They wanted to make sure that everything got sorted out properly for her sake. At this moment, I didn't feel like having any more conversation with my soon-to-be ex-wife. All I wanted was to complete the divorce process and move on from this awful experience. It's incredibly embarrassing not only for me, but also for my family. Even her family was shocked by the extent of her betrayal. Dealing with all this has been really distressing, and I'm not sure if I will ever fully recover from the emotional impact. It feels like a nightmare that I may never completely wake up from, and I worry that this ordeal has changed me in ways that I can't undo. Thank you for staying till the end of this video. Please support the channel by hitting the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get some reaction on the comment section. Thank you.